This is episode 3 of Living in 50 States. So we're in Wisconsin, actually near Lake Geneva. I forgot what you had told me about. Where are we?
We are in Williams Bay
Williams Bay
on Geneva Lake.
on Geneva Lake. So Lake Geneva is not too far,
Yes.
a few miles away. This beautiful view in the background, and I'm with Jennifer, who is from Wisconsin. And to get started, how long have you been in Wisconsin?
I think I've lived here about 20-ish years. We'll just say
Okay.
that.
20-ish years.
Yeah.
And what do you do? Do you want to share what you do?
I own my own business. I run an energy snack company.
Awesome. We're actually neighbors at farmers market for our businesses, and that's how we met. So that's awesome. She's an amazing product, by the way. Um, Next, to ask you, what brought you to Wisconsin? Were you born here?
I was not born here. I was born in Minnesota,
Okay.
and a job brought me here in
Ah,
college. I was interning in Wisconsin, and then I got a job at that same company when I graduated college.
nice. What industry was the job?
At the time, it was technical training, software training.
Was the transition from Minnesota to here no,
So easy.
pretty similar?
Yeah, pretty similar.
Midwest?
Very Midwest. Very Midwest. Same climate, bigger city, but that's about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How would you describe the overall vibe of Wisconsin, would you say?
I would say we're pretty relaxed here. We're very casual. Some people will joke that we will wear anything to dinner versus dressing up, and that's just the norm here. People are
Really?
just super casual.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is the Lake Geneva area different than the culture of Wisconsin?
I would say so.
It seems more Chicago people that
Yes,
vacation here.
Lake
Okay.
Geneva, the city and the entire lake of Geneva Lake is filled with what we would consider old money. So a lot of the old tycoons of the, I would say, late 1800s
wow,
had homes on the lake.
that's
And
interesting.
so that's how Lake Geneva became such a tourist spot. It's because all that money, this was their resort,
Wow,
and it still is to this day.
it seems like it. Driving to the farmers market, I see all the little
Yes.
touristy places, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful though.
If you get a chance to do any sort of boat tours on the lake, you can really get an idea of the history of all the old homes. And
Nice.
there's huge homes
Wow,
on the lake. It's just a really fun tour.
old money. Do you know what industry that would be?
You're
Is
going to
that-
ask me that. I'm going to say,
I wonder.
I don't know off the top of my head. I just know Wrigley,
Oh, okay.
Wrigley Field,
Baseball.
Wrigley Gum. That name is out here. I can't think of any right now, but a lot of big names,
Okay,
a lot of old industries.
that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, it seems it's like there's a lot of railroad tracks. There's trains
Yes.
everywhere in not only Wisconsin but Illinois as well. So maybe
That was the mode of transportation for sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
So interesting. So different than Florida. If you had to describe your state in 3 words,
Oh boy.
I gotta hear this.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna say. Cows.
Cows,
corn.
okay. Cows, corn.
What's the other? What did I say the other day?
I think you said you said
Cheese.
oh
Cows,
cheese.
corn, and cheese.
You said beer too.
I did say beer,
Beer.
but that doesn't start with a C.
Cows, corn. Oh, that's funny.
And
Cows,
cheese
corn,
and beer.
Cheese and beer. Okay. So pretty stereotypical then. It is what it is.
In the non-Lake Geneva areas, yes.
Okay. That's cool though. I have to say, the cheese is amazing.
The cheese can be very amazing. Yes.
My
If you
my
find the right
product,
stuff.
I'm using a feta from Wisconsin.
Are you?
Greek style feta, and it's so much better than in Florida.
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy.
It's the cows.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
If you could change one thing about your state, what would it be and why?
Gosh. For me personally, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, but the humidity in the summer,
Really? I didn't know there was humidity.
not compared to Florida,
Oh wow.
but there's definitely humidity here.
I didn't even notice because I'm so used to, you
Uh-huh.
know, that makes sense. Being on the lake.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the most unusual local tradition or custom? Do you have any weird?
Unusual or local tradition custom? Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't know. That's a great question. That's gonna bug me. I'll have to think about that one.
Okay. Yeah. Anytime you remember, feel free. Any quirky or little known facts about your state that might surprise? Like for example, in where was I? In Louisville,
Mhm.
Kentucky. He told me that they used to have a law that still exists where there's no ice cream cones in your back pocket allowed because which sounds
Because that
ridiculous.
happened once.
Well, supposedly that's how they would steal horses. They put an ice cream cone in their back pocket,
Oh my
and
gosh,
they'd
that
walk
is such a
away,
cool thing.
and the horse would follow them.
Oh, that's funny.
And the law is still existing today.
That is
It's
hilarious.
crazy.
That is hilarious.
Any like weird things like that that you might know?
So, what was your question again? Because I had
Oh,
it on the tip of my tongue.
yeah, no. Any quirky or little known facts about your state that might surprise listeners?
I think the funniest fact is that Wisconsin actually has more lakes than Minnesota,
Hmm.
even though Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes.
Wow, that is crazy. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So, as you can see, Wisconsin is full of lakes. And it's
Yeah.
not just an up north idea, it's literally all over the state.
That's awesome.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's
Mhm.
cool. Any big misconceptions people have about your state?
That we all live on farms?
Okay,
Probably.
that's a good one.
Yeah, we definitely don't.
Do you live like nearby farms?
Yes.
Uh,
The town I live in is about 5,000 people, and it's absolutely rural. There's
Okay.
cows all around us.
That's cool. Okay, so not exactly.
But I don't live on a farm.
All right. No, that's cool, and that's a beautiful thing because
Yes.
being in a city like it's just people crave land.
Right.
Like most people live in cookie cutter houses with a little tiny lawn, so it's
Mhm.
nice to have open land.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome. Any famous food in the area? Would you say cheese?
So cheese,
beer?
obviously, there is I don't want to say grocery store, but there's a little shop called Elegant Farmer,
Elegant
not
Farm.
too far from here,
Okay.
that won a contest for the best baked apple pie in a bag,
In a
a
bag.
paper bag. They were on Food Network,
Wow,
and they beat out some major chef's pie.
that's
So
impressive.
if you ever get a chance to go to, it's between McWanago and East Troy.
Gotta go in
It's called
East Troy.
Elegant Farmer.
In a bag, is it just like a mess, or is it just a pie
No,
in a
so
bag?
it's in a pie tin. It's a crust, just a normal pie, but they bake it in the bag.
Oh,
So
interesting.
then the bag sort of browns and steams it and crisps it all at the same time. It is to die for.
I have to
It's
add
so
that.
good.
I'm gonna add that to my
It's so good.
list.
But you have to get the regular apple. Don't
Okay.
get the caramel or any other flavor.
Regular
Just
apple.
straight up apple pie. It's so good.
That sounds good. All right. Huh. So then that actually leads right into best restaurants or places to eat or hidden gems. So
Oh
that's
my
one
gosh.
hidden gem.
That is a hidden gem.
Are there any others or?
Oh my gosh, I'm sure there's a ton. Every town has their own little supper club or bar or whatnot. It's just a matter of finding them. I think
Okay.
in Wisconsin, what you want to look for is supper clubs.
Supper clubs.
Yeah.
What is?
What is a supper club?
I've never heard of
Great
that.
question. It's kind of like a semi-fine dining bar slash restaurant. I don't know how else to describe it. They
Right.
usually specialize in like fish fries or prime rib. Cocktails. They have their special cocktails. There's some really nice ones in the Dells area, Wisconsin Dells.
That's interesting. The
Mhm.
concept. I can't wrap my head around the
That's
concept.
funny. See,
Yeah.
there's another idea.
Huh. Our cheese curds are really well known here, right?
Cheese curds are very well known here,
Cheese curds.
but you have to get the fresh cheese curds, not the
What's
deep fried cheese curds.
what's the difference?
It's a total difference.
Are they both popular though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is a cheese curd? It's just like cheese that's.
So I'm not in the cheese industry, but,
I assume
but
that
it's like
everybody.
right? It's like a hunk of cheese.
Okay.
But there's a process. There's a reason it's called a curd because
That's- I see.
when the milk is curdling, or I'm not the expert, but
Okay, I'll Google it. I'll
they
Google it.
skim it off the top. I'll say that. I don't know
That's cool though, because yeah, Florida cheese curds are not a thing.
at all.
Yeah, it's so I've tried them at the farmers market from someone who actually is from Wisconsin,
Okay.
but and they're amazing. But I never could understand what it
Did
was.
you do a fresh or a deep fried?
It was fried.
Okay. And they're great, but they're not quite the same as a fresh, squeaky. You want to get a fresh, squeaky
Oh,
cheese curd.
I heard someone said the squeakier
Yes,
the better.
The squeakier the better. That
Wow.
means they're more fresh.
That's funny. That's actually a thing.
It's a
Wow, that's
thing. It is a
awesome.
thing.
So then, any specific restaurants or places to eat that
It's just so many.
Okay.
One of my favorites, honestly, it's a supper club in, I think it's Caledonia. It's called the Hobnob. It has sort of 50s, 60s decor.
Hmm.
But the food is amazing, and it's right on Lake Michigan.
We actually have a hobnob in Sarasota.
Do you
I
really?
wonder if it's like somehow
Nah,
related. No,
I doubt
okay.
it. I doubt it.
That's cool though. Hobnob.
Hobnob. It's
Hobnob.
really cool.
Any gonna jump around to history and culture. Anything like historic happening? No, it's a little too far north in northwest for.
I might not be the best person to ask that
No, that's
question.
fine. I mean,
Historically, I'm sure there's a ton of things.
more so if there's like anything in your area that's like a landmark or nothing crazy. No battlefields or anything. Probably not.
Not huge
Okay,
historical that I know of.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the any notable universities or colleges in Wisconsin,
Well, Madison
Madison.
University. So the University of Wisconsin is in Madison. So
Okay.
about an hour and a half away. Super great college town.
Hmm.
Has everything you could possibly want,
That's
including the
cool.
bar scene, the
Nice.
college football on Saturdays in the fall, to the literally the best farmers market in the nation
That's
in
awesome.
Madison.
Oh, I heard about that one.
Dane County Farmers
I
Market.
applied to it too.
Yes.
That's
It is
cool.
amazing. It is amazing. Um, I actually lived there for some time and it's one of my favorite cities.
Oh, okay.
They do farmers markets on Saturday. They did and still do concerts on the square on
Wow.
Wednesdays. So the Capitol Square houses or holds the market on the weekends. It holds several events throughout the week as well.
Okay.
But concerts on the square is a live orchestra sometimes that just plays music for a couple of hours and everybody just picnics
That's
on their
amazing.
blankets. Yeah, it's really cute.
And the market's all summer months.
The market is April through November,
Okay.
every Saturday morning.
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love how people just hang out outdoors here, and
Well, we only have a short time where we can enjoy the weather. Most of us.
that's
I
true.
don't mind winter, but most people hibernate in the winter.
Oh,
So when summer comes, we're out.
you gotta take advantage. It's funny.
Absolutely.
I was at the Deerfield Farmers Market,
Mm-hmm.
and I was walking, and I saw someone just laying in the grass,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking, you don't really see that.
Soaking it up.
Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
don't really see that in Florida as much, just because of the bugs and the humidity. Some places you can, but
Yeah.
it just it's nice up here. It's very
We
nice.
definitely soak it up in the summer.
Yeah, and that it's nice. It forces you to be active,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, back in Florida all year round, you
Right.
can kind of get complacent with. Yeah, I really like it up here.
Right. Well, that's good.
The next question: any must-sees or favorite attractions, like hikes, or unknown places only locals knew, like any haunted barns or anything?
I don't know about that,
Okay.
but one of my favorite hiking spots is in the Baraboo area.
Hmm.
Devil's Lake State Park is a hot spot.
Devil's Lake.
Devil's Lake. It's a hiking spot, rock climbing, rappelling, all of that.
Wow.
Canoeing. It's, I think, one of the deepest lakes in Wisconsin.
So there's some elevation for rock
Mhm.
climbing.
It's bluffs. It's not mountains, but it's considered bluffs.
That's
It's
cool.
gorgeous in the fall. They have camping, picnicking, hiking, like any state park in Wisconsin, really. But Devil's Lake is really cool for hiking.
I didn't know that they had elevation. I thought it was
Here
just
and
Midwest.
here and there for sure, like along the coastline, along Lake Michigan, up in Door County,
Wow.
and even in the Dells, there's some elevation.
That's
A little
awesome.
bit.
Definitely gonna start doing some research.
Yeah, we need to
Huh.
travel.
Yeah, you have to take
There is
advantage.
a lot to Wisconsin as far as nature is concerned, I think.
It's a beautiful state from what I've seen so far, and from what you tell me, it sounds even better. Any popular road trip destinations within your state, like
State.
key cities or
For me, the hot spot would be Door County,
Door County?
which is the peninsula on the northeast side of the state.
Okay.
So the entire county is considered Door County, but there's a lot of little cities all along the peninsula. You can shop, you can bike, you can do art galleries, dining, fishing.
That's cool.
That's a drive.
Wow.
That's a drive to do.
And you can go all the way around the entire lake, right? In about 8 hours.
So the entire Lake Michigan?
Yes.
I don't remember. I've done it. I don't remember how long it was. But you're covering Wisconsin and Michigan and
Yes.
Illinois, which is fun, which is very cool.
That sounds
But
amazing.
that's talking about another state for the most part.
I like the way you're
You're
sticking
talking
with.
more about Michigan then.
True, I'm getting off topic. That's true. You're right.
But it is a beautiful drive.
Good, good. That's awesome. If you had to leave your state, what would you miss the most?
Oh boy.
The cheese curds.
No.
The
What would I miss the most? I don't know. You know, one thing I do like about here is the wildlife. I'm such a nature person. I just love driving along and seeing a deer or seeing a rabbit or seeing goats in the field or whatever.
That's awesome.
So when I go to the city, I like the city. I love the energy of a city, but there's nothing like that countryside, I think. I think I would miss that.
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
agree. There's something special about just
Yeah.
being in nature.
Yeah.
That actually leads me into I'm gonna jump to a different section. The
Okay.
scariest animal in your state, like bear. I know
Probably
there's
the badger.
the badger.
So the badger is the mascot for University of Wisconsin.
Ah,
But I've never seen one in person, but I've heard they're just nasty, mean,
I've actually read
which
about
is
them.
a great mascot,
That's true. Yeah,
right?
that's a badass animal.
Yeah, yeah.
I've read like the honey badger
Hmm.
and how it's such a small animal, but it's just like ferocious.
Yes.
And I go down Google wormholes sometimes, so I
Yeah.
somehow got down this Google honey badger wormhole, and and I was learning about them, and they're a very impressive animal.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had badgers here.
Well, again, I've never seen one. I'll
Yeah.
be honest. I don't know where they live. I don't know really what their habitat is,
Huh.
but I don't want to come across them, is what I've heard.
All right. That's a good answer. Honey badgers. There's no bears. There's no.
There are bears.
Oh, there are
There
bears.
are black bears,
Okay.
more in the northern part of the state, but just black bears.
Yeah.
They're going to run if they see you. They're not going to attack.
True. That makes sense. Yeah, Florida, we
Yep.
have black bears as
Hmm.
well. I know grizzlies are typically more western states,
Yes, in
California,
north. Yep.
or north of
Yep.
California, Oregon, Washington.
Yep.
The what are the best towns or cities to live in within your state? Would you say
Madison is definitely a top city for me.
Madison, Wisconsin?
Mhm. Any small town.
Okay,
If you love the outdoors, I would say any small town.
any small town.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect
Yeah.
because it represents Wisconsin.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Any industries that drive the economy in the state that you might know of? Like, if there's not a prominent one, that's fine. But
Yeah.
so you know how some states have like coal, or and then
Hmm.
like in the South, there's some
Hmm.
towns that just kind of fell apart because the industry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, Wisconsin was raised on the beer industry,
Oh, I
but
didn't.
that's not how it is anymore.
Huh.
We used to have countless breweries in the Milwaukee area. Schlitz, Miller. I'm not a beer drinker, so I don't really know them all, but the town really and the state really thrived on breweries. Not so much anymore.
This is interesting. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know beer was such a big thing here.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
huge.
Yeah.
Huge German population.
Oh, in mostly Milwaukee area?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh. That's interesting. How would you describe the general cost of living, like quality of life, cost of living? Is it expensive here?
I would say relative to other states, no, it's pretty reasonable.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. It
Hmm.
seems like it. I
Hmm.
noticed that some things are very inexpensive, and then some things are normal priced. So
Right,
it's that's
right.
good. Good
Yeah, I
balance.
would say relative. It's pretty good cost of living here.
Okay.
Yeah.
The creative and fun section. So this is the last section. What is a typical? This is a hard one. This is the hardest one in the
The
section.
hard one.
What is a typical only in-state moment that you've experienced? Like
Oh
a
my
cow
gosh.
crossing in front of you, like something that's only in
That
Wisconsin.
you would only come across in Wisconsin?
Yeah, if
Oh
there's
my
anything
gosh.
specific.
It'd have to be the squeaky cheese
That's
curds.
squeaky. Hearing somebody eating cheese curds. All right.
I don't know. I've traveled all over. I don't know of anything that I could only see in Wisconsin.
Okay. I mean the squeaky cheese curds. That's a good
That
one.
might be
Squeaky
that might
cheese
be it.
curds. And then imagine your state as a person. How would you describe their personality? This is a good one. If you had to describe maybe like 3 words to describe Wisconsin as a
I don't
person.
know if you want to know the answer to this.
Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
It would have to be a beer drinker.
Oh, that says it all. Okay. So
And that's
more.
so stereotypical. Obviously, not everybody's like that. But I think as a general rule, people would say that's Wisconsin.
Okay. So more laid back and just kind of
Yeah.
going with the flow. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Getting out
right.
on the boat, after a couple of cocktails or,
Nice. That's cool though.
yeah.
It's like the opposite of like New York or that's cool. Couple more interesting ones. The most photogenic spot in your state, probably northern Wisconsin, I'm assuming, from what you said.
I would say northern. This is beautiful. I think anytime you're out on the lake in Wisconsin, it's very scenic. For me, I love Door County for scenery.
Door County.
Mhm.
I really have to check that out because you keep mentioning
Yeah.
it. If you had to create a, it's kind of similar to the one I asked before, a state-themed cocktail or dish, what would be in it? Maybe some cheese curds, maybe some, like a beer,
Well, a
like a platter.
cocktail, we're known for our old fashions.
Oh, wow.
Are you familiar with
I love
those?
old, I didn't know that. I love old fashions.
So maybe they're all over, but I feel like it's definitely a Wisconsin Supper Club cocktail.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had no idea that. I assumed beer since you said beer, but
Yeah.
uh, old fashions. I wonder why. Huh. The
That's a great question. I don't know why.
I'll have to do some research on
Yeah.
that for sure. Maybe there's a
Because I
history
know
behind
they're
it.
all over, but they're made differently everywhere you go.
That's true. Yes,
Yeah.
every place is different.
Yeah.
If you had to plan, this is the second to last question,
Okay.
and then we can talk about whatever you had mentioned before. If you had to plan the perfect day in your city or state for a visitor, what would the itinerary include?
Uh, a morning walk to a coffee shop,
Okay, nice.
like in any town. Maybe getting out on the boat in the afternoon, and then at night, probably a supper club. Honestly,
Hmm.
like just super casual,
Yeah,
just strolling through the day,
I like
being
that.
outside. Like I picture summer.
Okay. So everything good. Well, not everything good, but most activities happen in summer. Because wintertime, everyone's just in
I
their
make it sound
houses.
like that, but there are a lot of snowmobilers and skiers. Not that we
Okay,
have mountains here, but we definitely have some hills. But people do find a way to enjoy even the water. Like
nice.
ice fishing is very popular
Oh,
on all
okay.
the lakes.
I did see a ski resort. I was
Hmm.
driving on my way here. I see a sign. It says ski resort and then an arrow. There's little ski resorts here.
Alpine Valley,
Oh,
maybe.
huh.
There are little ski resorts kind of spotted around the state.
That's great. I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
assumed North Carolina, mountainous areas.
yeah.
That's good to know.
So, secret tip: a lot of those are former landfills.
Really? No way. So they just took
I
advantage.
mean, you've got the pile,
Ah,
so let's build something on it. Yeah,
wow.
isn't that crazy?
That is funny. I'm curious to see now. Before I leave, when it gets cold, I have to see the elevation.
Right.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
That is about it. Unless this is a funny question.
Oh boy.
Any legendary cryptid like New Jersey has like the I can't remember the name of it. The something devil. Then there's like Bigfoot in the Northwest. Like any special little
Oh,
animal that you have, or like legend, mythical creature.
I feel like everybody has Bigfoot.
I think
I think
so.
every state has a Bigfoot.
I think he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say we definitely have that.
Okay. So Bigfoot in Wisconsin. No unicorns or
No
anything.
unicorns that I think of. We don't have a Loch Ness monster
Okay.
that I know of.
All right. No, that's you gave a lot of good stuff. Thank you. Seriously.
You're welcome.
And then you wanted to ask about, or you wanted to talk about the more of the road trip side of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious. I'm curious about your tips on how to make a good road trip.
Yeah,
Because for me, I always traveled with my kids
definitely.
ever since they were little. And you always hear people saying, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that? Didn't your kids go crazy on a 6 hour trip?" And I'm like, "That they're just used to it. Like that's all they've ever known is road trips."
That's amazing. That
So I think if you just teach them young,
yeah, no, that makes sense. If they're not used to it, it'd probably be a shock, and then they'd
right,
be freaking out.
right.
But I in the book I mentioned that yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way. So the wrong way would be driving destination focused. So
Mm-hmm.
just wanting to get to your destination as soon as possible
Yep,
and missing the journey, being
yep,
hangry, being tired, skipping everything,
yep.
and driving like 10 hours in one day. The right way would be breaking it up in increments. So
Mm-hmm.
like 500 miles in one day. So if you leave by 6 a.m., you're there by 4 or 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
and then you can enjoy the evening. And then within that, every 2 hours you stop.
Yeah.
And then within that, anytime you see an attraction, you stop.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're driving along and you see like a little fruit stand,
Yep.
You pull over, or you even do a U-turn if you have to.
Yep.
Check it out. You immerse yourself in the local culture.
Yep.
So literally every 2 hours, or more frequently than that, you're stopping, and you still get to your destination by
Right.
6 p.m. So that way you
Got a
have
decent
a
time.
whole day of experiences. You got to try food from the little
Yep.
tiny restaurant on the corner. You might have gotten food poisoning, but you get
But it's all a memory.
yeah,
That's how
exactly.
I look at it. It's all a memory of that trip,
Yeah,
no matter what happens.
you get to see like maybe even take a hike, a 30-minute hike
Yeah.
randomly. You get to be spontaneous and enjoy the open road, and because the perfect road trip lies in a balance of not too much structure uh, to be too rigid and prevent
Mhm.
you from just experiencing organic moments,
Right.
um, but then again not too little structure because then you're just like a boat with no destination, and then you miss out on experiences
Right.
and it's more stressful. So you need enough structure to know where you're going and generally where you're going to stop,
Yeah.
uh, and to be able to get more of the experiences that you want, but not too much where you miss out on the opportunities.
Mhm.
Um, so then I have these road trip commandments people can follow, like stop every 2 hours,
Yep.
all the stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way for
That's
sure.
fun.
Thank you.
I think most people do look at just the destination. I
Most
would agree
people,
with that.
definitely.
And I've learned over the last probably 10 years to just say, "Oh my gosh, I just saw a sign for beef jerky on the side of a road in Arizona. Let's pull over."
Yes,
Or the guy selling salmon jerky on a back road off the glacier in Alaska. Like that.
that's the best.
Like, what do you? Why not
Yes.
stop?
Yeah,
You
you have.
never know if you're gonna survive, but at
It's true.
least you have fun doing it.
Yeah, that's the right mentality, and they're so life changing too. When you
Hmm.
do them the right way, there's so much self growth, strengthen relationships with loved ones,
Yes.
new experiences.
Yes.
It's so different, and
Yeah.
people don't know how to take it the right way.
I think people are so. I think it's just our culture to be so focused on the end result. Get there as fast as you can
True,
versus enjoying the
that's
whole
true.
trip.
Definitely have
Yeah.
to change that.
Yeah.
And then the U.S. has so many beautiful places that anybody can take a road trip. Even
Mm-hmm.
living in Missouri, they could take a weekend road trip and they could come to Chicago. It's like
Yeah.
6 hours, I
I
think.
think people. I think the time scares people. Like I know so many people that say, "Oh my God, 4 hours? You're in the car for 4 hours," and I'm thinking, what?
Yeah.
That's like going to see my friend for dinner and then coming back home. Like that's
Wow.
normal for me.
You drive a lot.
Yeah. So it's very foreign for me to think that 6 hours is a long
Huh.
trip. I remember the first time I drove to the Denver area, and I remember Googling it, how far it was, and it was 12, 12, 14-ish hours. And I was like, that's so close. Like I
That's
literally
funny.
said that.
It's all relative.
That's so close. Let's do it. We're going. Yeah. So I
Wow.
think it's just people's attitude about what they can handle.
That's a good point. And they don't know how to use their time.
Right.
And that's another thing. You can take advantage. You can call people that you haven't talked to in a while. You can spend an hour or so zoning out and just having time to think and
Yeah.
reflect. Music, games, questions to ask people in the car. There's so many things to do.
Yeah.
Denver's only 12 hours away from here. Really? Wow. Before I leave, I've got to. I didn't know that.
I mean, come on. It's so easy.
Wow, that's like driving to North Carolina from Florida.
Yeah. See,
That's not
that's
bad.
crazy because you'd think that would be a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you inspired me. That's crazy.
But that's how to think about it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Because that's like essentially that could be a long weekend trip where it's like you leave Friday morning. People don't. That's another
Yeah,
thing people
really
don't
long
realize.
weekend, but yeah.
People are afraid to take road trips, but they could leave on a Friday after work and drive 6 hours
Hmm.
and have an amazing weekend. Even up to 8 hours away.
But I think the key is people are scared of 6 hours even. So how
Yes.
do you get people to say, I could drive 12 hours, maybe over 3 days if I had to, but again, then you're talking about how much time can people take off of work.
Yes.
So
I think maybe getting them to realize that the it's about the journey, not the destination. I think it comes back to that where they 7 hour trip, 6 hour trip. It's not my vacation starts when I get there,
right,
but my vacation starts when I get into the car, and
right. Enjoy your company, enjoy the
yes,
scenery,
yes, enjoying that
all
seven
of that.
hours every step of the
All of
way.
that.
That's true though.
I think it's just keeping an open mind when you're traveling.
That makes
You know,
sense.
when I
Yeah.
travel with my kids, we take food with us and we stop wherever and have a little picnic along the river.
It's a good
I
idea.
mean, we've done that many times. We just stop whatever. So there's a bridge between on the Mississippi that connects Arkansas and Tennessee. So you can stand on the bridge and be in two different states at the
Oh,
same
that's
time.
cool.
So that's something that we would have never known had we not seen the billboard and just did it.
Wow. You literally you're like a pro road tripper. You like do
I think
everything that
so.
that's cool. Yeah. And you're a good example of how people should take road trips.
Yeah,
And that's why you appreciate it so much.
I do. I do appreciate a road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you told me you're going to the Northeast.
We're going to the Northeast. We're not road tripping. We are flying for that one.
Okay.
But when we fly there, we'll probably drive at least 3 states, if not
Nice.
four,
That's awesome.
depending on what we want to see. You
All
know,
right.
for me, I was always, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And what do I want to do? And let's compare notes. What we have in common, let's make sure we
Ah,
do, and then we'll pick one from your list, one from your list, one from my list.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
To
So
kind of
then we all
wow.
get to do what we want to do, but also experience what others want to do.
For a family, that's great
Yeah,
insight.
yeah.
Everyone gets to do and look forward to something. Everyone feels heard and
Right.
included.
When they're included in the planning, I think that's huge. I remember when my girls were probably 12, 13, 14. I have a picture of them sitting on the floor with a paper map.
Hmm.
And I was like, all right, draw out where we're going. I think we were going to probably North Carolina from Wisconsin. So I had them highlight the map, kind of figure out where we would stay the night if we were going to stop at a hotel. Like, it was so fun to see them get so excited.
That's
And they love
amazing.
road tripping now.
Wow.
Yeah,
You started them young.
I did. I started them way young,
That is
way
cool.
young.
But seriously, you're such a good example of how people should, learn to take road trips
Yeah,
and start their kids at a young age. And
that's
um,
key.
these road trips really change your life. People don't realize that. They're so powerful. When I was
Yeah,
younger, my mom would plan these crazy road trips, and at first I hated it because I was stuck in the back seat,
right,
and they were more destination focused. But
right. When you're little.
yeah, but still, at the destinations, every time we stopped, it just was so amazing. I remember one time we were driving through a desert,
Hmm.
and then we went up in the mountains. Like, and 30 minutes later, we were in the snow, and it was snowing.
Isn't that fun? I
Oh,
love that. I
it
love
was.
that.
They changed my life.
Yeah,
They changed your perspective.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just such a neat way to see the country. You know, I took my girls to Vegas. What's your first thought, right? Like, why? But we flew into Vegas and then we drove everywhere, all
Oh,
around for a week.
nice. Wow,
So we did New Mexico, Arizona, California, and Nevada on that trip.
that is cool.
So we did Death Valley one day. We were in Vegas one night, and it was just crazy. We just drove wherever.
Smart.
Did Route 66 for a little while.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it was
Because
a
you're
lot of
very
fun.
centrally located. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's
That's the key too. When you do fly, find that airport where you can kind of do everything around.
yeah,
You don't have to go to Vegas just because you fly to Vegas.
true. Did you fly into
We
how
flew into Vegas.
oh not Reno? Reno's kind of
Mm-mm.
far, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we flew into Vegas, and it's so cheap to fly to Vegas.
I didn't know that either.
It's so cheap to fly to
Huh. I'm learning a lot. I have to seriously, if I love the West Coast. But
Yeah.
it's so expensive to fly into like LA
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is like 6 hours away. Any of those destinations are so expensive.
Yes.
So I have to keep that in mind.
And that's another tip too. When we're going to Boston in a couple of weeks, that might be the cheapest location for us to get to Rhode Island or get to Maine. So you kind of have to think outside of the
I
box,
like that.
kind of do your research on where to fly into, and then go travel.
That's a good point for people
Yeah.
to not just focus on where you want to go,
Mm-hmm.
but examine the area
Yeah.
because you could fly 2 3 hours away
Mm-hmm.
for a lot cheaper.
Right. Exactly. And
I like that.
especially in New England, everything is so close. It's so easy.
That's true.
So easy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Boston is the cheapest area to fly into?
It's relatively cheap.
Huh.
And it's just, it's not centrally located, but yet it is for really everything in that area. And even if we decide to stay in Boston the whole time, There's nothing wrong with that.
You're right. No, Boston is
Boston
amazing.
has so much history.
It's a cool city,
Yes.
especially in the fall with the fall colors, the foliage. You're right. Huh. Wow. Well, thank you. Seriously.
You're welcome.
Not
You're
only
welcome.
for
I love
sharing,
talking about road tripping.
I'm glad that you had a lot of good stuff to share, and
I
all the
do.
insight about Wisconsin too. I know you didn't want to talk about state-related stuff, but you did great. Seriously.
Thanks.
Thank you
Thanks.
for joining me.
You're welcome.
And
You're
you'll
welcome.
see Jennifer soon on the other side with I want to offer two styles of podcasts, one for travelers, one for locals. So as a traveler sharing more insight. So thank
Yeah.
you, Jennifer. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. You're welcome.